Hi, this is Jay and welcome to Headways 360. Today let us understand what is right issue of shares. A right issue of shares is basically a way through which a listed company in stock exchange raises additional fund. By definition, it is an invitation to existing shareholders to purchase additional new shares in the company. The company is giving the shareholders the chance to increase their exposure to the stock at a discounted price. What we need to understand here is why the company need to issue shares at a discount. Very simple. Any issue of shares is to raise capital. That is, the company need money to grow and expand, either by way of purchase of new machinery, land purchase, open new branches, or even to repay its loans. They can do it in multiple ways. They can come up with an initial public offering. It is when a company initially offers shares of stock to the public. With this initial public offering, company gets listed in stock exchange. There can be possibility that promoters want to reduce their stake and comes up with a new issue. Another way to raise the capital is to come up with a rights issue. A company may come up with a fresh batch of shares but may choose not to go to public. Rather, it may just approach the existing shareholders and offer them some shares at a discount. That is what we will discuss in detail. Now let's understand the types of rights issues of shares. There are two types: renounceable rights issues and non-renounceable rights issues. In the renounceable rights issues, here the existing shareholder of the company has the right to transfer his or her right to subscribe the right issues of shares to anyone who may not be even the shareholder of the company. On the contrary, in the non-renounceable rights issues, the existing shareholder do not have the right to transfer his or her right to subscribe right issues of shares to anyone. Here the shareholder only has two options: either to ignore the rights issues or to purchase the shares. Rights issue is perhaps the best way to raise capital without incurring additional debt, because instead of borrowing money from banks and paying the high interest rate, it is quite feasible option to raise funds from the existing shareholders. But as a shareholder, what do we need to look on the right issue? First of all, we should understand how strong is the company, what they do, where they do it, how they do the business, who are the promoters, and so on. Next thing to look is we need to understand what is the intention of management in coming up the right issue. Is it for the business expansion, purchase of machinery, setting up new plants, or for paying off the debts? Next, what we need to check is how is the company fundamentally placed. For example, looking at the price to earning ratio, risk involved by checking the beta, dividend options available, return to capital employed, shareholding patterns, and so on. We need to check on the current market price, variation in the prices over a period of time, say 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, so that we understand whether the discount given is appropriate or not. Also, whether it's worth buying for you. What is your existing share price? If you are already holding the share at much lesser rate and the discount is not much appealing, then you can ignore. And last and not the least, if you are interested, whether you have sufficient fund to purchase the same and increase your holdings. Let's look at the advantages and disadvantages of rights issue from a shareholders and company's point of view. Talking about the advantages, the best part is it is always on the discounted price comparing to the market price. Unlike the IPO, the initial public offering, in the rights issue, company is able to reduce the operational cost and time, as the company saves a significant amount of money in underwriting fees, advertisements, and so on. The control of the company remains in the hands of the existing shareholders, as promoters also look forward to increase their stake. There is an equal distribution of share with the same proportion in the voting rights as well. When we look at the disadvantages, the company may not be able to raise more capital and fail to achieve the target, as it is limited to the existing shareholders. The value of each share may get diluted if there are increased number of shares issued. It also creates a negative market sentiment, as it is normally assumed that company is struggling to run its business operations smoothly, as they are looking for raising the capital. Now let's understand how rights issue of share works. Let's say that ABC and company is having a shortage of cash. They are in debt and they cannot go out and get another debt as of now. So they think the best way to remain afloat is to issue the right shares. Hence, they decide to issue the shares to the existing shareholders at rupees 70 per share when the market price of the share is rupees 100 per share. That means at 30% discount. They will issue the shares in 10:1 ratio. That is, for every 10 existing shares, one share will be issued. That means if somebody is having 100 shares, they can get 10 additional shares at a discounted price. At this juncture, the existing shareholders have three options. They can choose to buy the right shares, they can ignore the right issue of shares, or they can choose to buy and sell it off at a discounted price and make profit from the sale. So in this scenario, what ABC and company should do? Should they go about issuing the right shares? Would it be beneficial? The answer is they should definitely go for issuing the right shares. But before they decide to issue the right shares, they need to be clear how they are going to utilize the capital. Would they pay off the debt, or would they invest in new project to generate more cash flow, or they would be looking for expansion? Once they are clear with their strategies and what they want to do with the money, they can set a goal and issue the right shares accordingly. I hope by now you will have a fair understanding of what is the rights issue of shares and how it works. So as always, thanks for watching. Stay connected, stay blessed.